Beneath Australia's waves and along its rugged shores lie ghostly giants of the sea, ships that once sailed with pride but now whisper secrets from the deep. These aren't just rusted wrecks, they're haunted vessels where shadows move, voices echo, and history refuses to stay silent. From tragic warships to eerie beach wrecks, each tells a chilling tale you won't believe. Are you ready to uncover the spine-tingling stories of Australia's most haunted ships? If ghost ships and chilling sea tales send shivers down your spine, hit subscribe and dive deeper into the haunted waters with us. 1. HMAS Vampire. The HMAS Vampire is one of the most famous haunted ships in Australia. It is a daring-class destroyer that served in the Royal Australian Navy and is now permanently docked at the Australian National Maritime Museum in Sydney. While the ship no longer sails, it has become well known not just for its military history, but also for the strange and unexplained things that many people claim to have experienced on board. The HMAS Vampire was built in the 1950s and served in various missions, including during the Cold War and the Vietnam War. It carried hundreds of sailors over the years, many of whom saw action and witnessed tragic events. Some visitors and former crew members believe that the energy from those intense times remains on the ship. This may explain the eerie feelings and ghostly sightings that people often talk about. People who have visited the Vampire say they have heard footsteps in empty hallways, doors opening and closing by themselves, and whispers when no one is around. Some say they feel like they are being watched, even when they are completely alone. Staff at the museum and some tourists claim to have seen shadowy figures moving in the distance or suddenly disappearing into thin air. One of the most common stories is about a sailor's ghost who is said to walk the deck at night, still keeping watch as if he never left duty. Even more chilling, some visitors have described feeling cold spots in specific areas of the ship, especially near the sleeping quarters and engine room. Others say their electronic devices stopped working temporarily while on board. A few have even captured strange images or voices on their phones or cameras. While there's no solid proof, the number of reports over the years keeps growing, which makes many believe there's something truly paranormal about the ship. The ship has also been the site of ghost tours and paranormal investigations. Ghost hunters and thrill seekers come to the Vampire to try and make contact with the spirits they believe still remain. Some use spirit boxes or thermal cameras, and a few have claimed they've heard voices calling out, giving names, or even answering questions. These kinds of experiences make the HMAS Vampire a favorite spot for those interested in the supernatural. Despite all the ghost stories, the HMAS Vampire remains a respected symbol of Australia's naval history. It stands as a reminder of the bravery and sacrifice of those who served. But at the same time, its dark corners and unexplained happenings have given it a different kind of fame. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, walking the quiet decks of the HMAS Vampire after dark can give anyone chills. 2. SS Yongala. The SS Yongala is one of the most tragic and mysterious shipwrecks in Australian history. It was a passenger steamship that sank off the coast of Queensland in 1911 during a powerful cyclone. The ship was on its way from Melbourne to Cairns when it disappeared without sending any distress signals. All 122 people on board, including passengers, crew, and even a racehorse, were lost. For decades, no one knew exactly where the ship had gone down, and it remained missing until 1958, when divers finally discovered the wreck on the ocean floor near Townsville. The sinking of the SS Yongala was a major disaster at the time. People were shocked and heartbroken, especially since there were no survivors and no real explanation for what had happened. Over the years, many stories began to form around the wreck. Some said it was cursed, while others believed that the spirits of those who died still lingered in the area. Divers who visit the site often talk about strange feelings and eerie experiences while exploring the ship underwater. Some divers have said they feel like they're being watched or followed as they swim near the wreck. Others have reported hearing unusual sounds or experiencing equipment problems for no clear reason. There have even been stories of divers becoming suddenly anxious or emotional when they approach certain parts of the ship. A few say they saw shadowy figures or felt cold spots in the water, even though the sea temperature was warm. While these reports are hard to prove, they keep happening again and again, which makes many believe something supernatural might be involved. The SS Yongala is now a protected site and one of the most popular dive spots in Australia. It's also considered one of the top wreck dives in the world. The ship has become an artificial reef, home to hundreds of sea creatures like turtles, rays, and giant groupers. It's a beautiful but haunting place, full of life on the outside and filled with tragedy on the inside. Because the wreck is protected, divers are not allowed to enter the ship, but just swimming around it can be an emotional experience. Many people believe that the energy of the people who died in the disaster is still connected to the site. Some say the spirits are peaceful, just stuck between worlds, while others believe they may be trying to communicate with the living. Paranormal researchers and ghost story lovers often talk about the Yongala when discussing haunted places in Australia. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, the story of the SS Yongala is deeply moving. It reminds us how powerful and unpredictable nature can be, and how a peaceful voyage can turn into a disaster in a matter of hours. The wreck remains a place of mystery and memory, where the past refuses to be forgotten. 3. Lady Darling. The Lady Darling was a steamship that sank off the coast of New South Wales, Australia, in 1880. It was a cargo ship carrying coal from Newcastle to Melbourne when it hit rocks near Montague Island and began to sink. The crew had very little time to react, and the ship quickly went down. Thankfully, there were no deaths in the accident, as the crew was rescued. But even though no lives were lost, the wreck of the Lady Darling has since become the center of strange and spooky stories. The wreck was forgotten for more than 100 years before it was finally rediscovered in 1996 by marine researchers. The ship had settled on the sea floor, broken and covered in marine growth. But once divers started visiting the site, they began to report strange feelings and odd events that made the Lady Darling stand out from other wrecks in the area. Many divers claim they feel an unexplained chill as they approach the ship, even though the surrounding water is not cold. Some divers say they have heard odd sounds while underwater, like distant banging, knocking, or even voices, despite being far from any boats or people. Others have described having trouble with their diving equipment near the wreck, such as lights flickering or cameras suddenly shutting off. A few even reported seeing strange shadows moving around the wreck, even when no one else was nearby. These stories have led to the belief that the Lady Darling might be haunted, even though no one died in the sinking. There is a local legend that the ship carried more than just coal on its final journey. Some say it may have had a secret cargo, or that something happened aboard the ship before it sank that has never been told. Because the wreck remained hidden for so long, a lot of its history is still a mystery, and that adds to the sense of unease around it. People believe that some kind of energy might have stayed behind, tied to the ship and the sea around it. Montague Island, near where the ship went down, is also known for strange lights and odd sightings, especially at night. Some people believe the entire area has a mysterious atmosphere, and the presence of the Lady Darling wreck only adds to it. Divers, tourists, and paranormal enthusiasts are often drawn to the site, not just for its historical interest, but also because of the ghost stories that surround it. The wreck of the Lady Darling is now a protected site. It remains underwater, slowly being taken over by sea life. But despite being just a shipwreck from the 1800s, it continues to attract attention, not only from historians and divers, but also from those who believe the sea still holds secrets that science can't fully explain. Whether it's haunted or not, the Lady Darling leaves a lasting impression on anyone who visits it. 4. SS Maheno. The SS Maheno was once a luxury passenger ship that carried people across the Tasman Sea between Australia and New Zealand. It was built in 1905 and was considered one of the most modern ships of its time. During World War I, it was used as a hospital ship to care for wounded soldiers. After the war, it returned to passenger service, but by the 1930s, it had become old and was no longer needed. In 1935, it was sold for scrap and was being towed to Japan when a powerful cyclone broke the tow chain. The Maheno drifted away and ended up stranded on Fraser Island, off the coast of Queensland. The shipwreck of the SS Mahino has remained on the beach ever since. Over the years, it has rusted and broken apart, becoming part of the island's landscape. Many people visit Fraser Island to see the wreck, which is now a popular tourist attraction. But behind the rusted metal and the history of the ship lies a darker side that has caused people to believe the Mahino might be haunted. Visitors have reported strange and unsettling experiences near the shipwreck, especially at night. Some people say they hear voices coming from the ship, even though no one is inside. Others have claimed to see shadowy figures moving around the wreck or standing silently near the twisted remains. There are also stories of people hearing footsteps in the sand behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. One of the most chilling parts of the story is connected to the ship's time as a hospital vessel during the war. Some believe that the souls of wounded or dying soldiers still remain tied to the ship. Even though the Mahino didn't sink in battle, the energy from those painful times might still linger. People have said they feel sadness, fear, or coldness when they get too close to the wreck, as if the past is still alive there. Photographers have taken strange pictures near the Mahino, capturing misty shapes or lights that they couldn't explain. Some tourists even say their cameras or phones stop working when they try to film near the ship. These events have made many think that something paranormal might be attached to the wreck, even if it's not dangerous, just a strong memory that refuses to fade. Despite the ghost stories, the SS Mahino is an important part of Australia's history. It tells the story of war, travel, and the power of nature. The fact that it still stands on the beach after all these years makes it feel like a monument frozen in time. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, standing near the Mahino can give you a deep feeling of respect, and maybe even a few chills. It's a beautiful but haunting reminder that the past never fully disappears. 5. HMAS Sydney, 2. HMAS Sydney, 2, is one of the most tragic and mysterious warships in Australian history. It was a light cruiser that served in the Royal Australian Navy during World War II. The ship and its entire crew of 645 men were lost in 1941 after a battle with a disguised German raider, the HSK Cormoran, off the coast of Western Australia. The loss shocked the nation because there were no survivors from the Sydney, and for many years, the exact location of the wreck remained unknown. The battle happened suddenly. The Sydney approached what it believed was a friendly ship, but it turned out to be the German raider in disguise. Both ships fired on each other, and while the Cormoran was badly damaged and later sunk, some of its crew survived. The Sydney, however, vanished beneath the sea with everyone on board. For decades, families of the lost sailors had no answers, and many believed that more had happened than was officially reported. The wreck of HMAS Sydney, 2, was finally discovered in 2008, about 200 kilometers off the coast of Shark Bay. The discovery brought some peace to the families, but the mystery and sadness surrounding the ship continue to this day. Many people believe that the energy of the sailors who died in such a sudden and tragic way still lingers in the deep waters where the ship now rests. Some fishermen and sailors in the area have told stories of strange feelings and unexplained happenings while passing near the wreck's location. Some say they've seen glowing lights under the water or heard odd sounds coming from the sea, like voices or clanging metal. Others report feelings of sadness or unease while traveling through that part of the ocean, even if they didn't know the wreck was nearby. Although the ship lies deep underwater and isn't accessible to the public, it is treated like a war grave and is protected. There are memorials on land, including in Geraldton, Western Australia, where people come to remember the brave men who served on the Sydney. Some visitors have said they feel a heavy atmosphere or a strange presence at the memorial, as if the spirits of the crew are still nearby. Paranormal researchers have also shown interest in the HMAS Sydney, 2. Even though no ghost tours are run near the site, it is often mentioned in stories about haunted places in Australian waters. The fact that all 645 lives were lost in a single event, and that the mystery lasted for so long, adds to the eerie feeling people get when talking about the ship. The HMAS Sydney, 2, is more than just a sunken warship. It represents sacrifice, bravery, and unanswered questions. Its story reminds us of how quickly life can change at sea and how powerful and deep the ocean's secrets can be. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the memory of the Sydney and its crew continues to haunt the hearts of many Australians. 6. James Craig. The James Craig is a fully restored 19th-century sailing ship that is now docked in Sydney, Australia. It was originally built in 1874 in England and was used to transport goods such as coal, wool, and general cargo between Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. After many years of service, the ship became too old and was eventually abandoned in Tasmania in the 1930s. It stayed there, slowly falling apart, until a group of volunteers decided to bring it back to life in the 1970s. After decades of careful work, the James Craig was restored and now serves as a museum ship that people can visit and even sail on. While the ship is beautiful and full of history, some visitors and volunteers believe that the James Craig is not just a piece of the past, but that part of its past still lives on in a strange and ghostly way. People have reported unusual and unexplained events on board, especially when the ship is quiet and there are few people around. These stories have led some to believe that the ship may be haunted by spirits from its long and sometimes difficult history. Some crew members and museum staff have said they've heard footsteps on the wooden decks when no one else was there. Others have heard voices calling out from empty rooms or felt sudden chills in areas that should be warm. There have even been sightings of shadowy figures moving below deck, only to disappear when someone tries to get a closer look. These events usually happen late at night or early in the morning, when the ship is closed to the public. One story often told involves a sailor who is believed to have died during one of the James Craig's long sea journeys. While there are no official records of a death on board, old ships like this often faced harsh conditions, and accidents were common. Some believe that the ghost of this unknown sailor remains on the ship, still carrying out his duties as if the voyage never ended. The ship's long time as a wreck in Tasmania may also play a part in the ghost stories. It was left to rot in a quiet bay for nearly 40 years, and during that time, it was almost completely forgotten. Some people think that the silence and sadness of those years may have left a mark on the ship, something that never fully went away, even after the restoration. Despite the ghost stories, the James Craig remains a popular and respected ship. It's a great way for people to learn about maritime history and experience what it was like to sail the seas more than 100 years ago. But for those who believe in spirits, the ship offers something more, a chance to feel the presence of the past in a very real way. Whether the ship is truly haunted or not, the James Craig continues to stir the imagination of all who step aboard. 7. SS City of Adelaide. The City of Adelaide is one of the oldest surviving clipper ships in the world. It was built in 1864 in England and named after the capital city of South Australia. The ship made many long journeys between England and Australia, carrying both passengers and cargo. It played a very important role in helping people migrate to Australia during the 19th century. Over the years, thousands of people traveled on this ship in search of a new life. Some were hopeful, others were sick or desperate, and not all made it to their destination. The ship's long and difficult voyages were often full of hardship. In those days, sea travel was dangerous, and people were sometimes affected by sickness, storms, or injuries. Historical records show that several people died while on board the City of Adelaide, especially during long journeys across the ocean. Their bodies were often buried at sea, and many believe that their spirits never left the ship. This is one of the reasons why some people think the City of Adelaide may be haunted. For many years after it stopped sailing, the ship had no permanent home. It was used for different purposes, such as a hospital ship and a training ship, and at one point, it was even abandoned. These years of uncertainty and neglect seemed to add to the ship's eerie reputation. People who worked or stayed near the ship reported hearing unexplained sounds, such as footsteps, whispering voices, or the sound of something heavy being dragged across the deck. Some visitors to the ship have said they felt sudden cold spots or had a strong sense of being watched, especially when standing near the cabins or below deck. Others have reported seeing strange shapes or figures that disappear when looked at directly. Some believe these could be the spirits of the passengers who died at sea or the sailors who served on the ship during tough times. Paranormal researchers have taken an interest in the ship and have carried out investigations, trying to capture voices or ghostly images with their equipment. Today, the city of Adelaide has been carefully restored and is located in Port Adelaide, where it can be visited by the public. It stands as a proud part of Australia's maritime history and reminds people of the long, difficult journeys made by early settlers. Tours of the ship focus on its history, but some guides are also open to talking about the ghost stories that surround it. Whether these stories are true or not, they add another layer of mystery and emotion to an already fascinating ship. The city of Adelaide is a rare and precious piece of the past. It holds the memories of thousands of lives, both joyful and sad. Whether you're a history lover or someone interested in the paranormal, stepping aboard the city of Adelaide is like walking back in time, where the past still whispers through the creaking wood and the silent halls. 8. SS Dickey. The SS Dickey was a small steamship built in the late 1800s. It ran into trouble during a storm in 1893 and was forced to crash land on the beach at Caloundra, on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. The crew survived the accident, but the ship could not be saved. It remained stuck on the beach for over 120 years, slowly breaking apart over time. The beach was even named Dickey Beach after the ship, and the rusty remains became a local landmark and a favorite spot for both tourists and photographers. Over the years, many people began to share strange stories about the SS Dickey and the beach around it. Some said they heard odd sounds, like voices or metal creaking, especially at night when the beach was empty. Others claimed to see ghostly figures walking near the wreck or standing silently by the water. These figures would disappear when approached, leaving behind only footprints in the sand or nothing at all. Locals and visitors started to believe that the SS Dickey might be haunted. Some thought the spirits were from the ship itself, while others believed they were drawn to the shipwreck as a place filled with strong emotions. Even though no one died in the shipwreck, the fear and panic that the crew must have felt during the storm could have left behind a kind of spiritual energy. Some people believe this energy stayed on the beach long after the ship was grounded. Children who played near the wreck sometimes told their parents they saw people in old-fashioned sailor clothes or heard someone calling their name from the direction of the sea. Some adults felt uneasy or cold when standing too close to the remains, especially at night or during cloudy weather. A few paranormal groups visited the beach to try and record ghostly voices or signs of spirits, and while there was no solid proof, the stories continued to grow. In 2015, for safety reasons, the local government decided to remove most of the SS Dickey wreck from the beach. The rusting metal had become dangerous, and strong tides were moving parts of it around. Some people felt sad about this, believing the ship's removal would also take away its ghostly presence. Others thought that disturbing the wreck might even make the spirits angry or unsettled. After the wreck was removed, a few visitors said the beach still felt strange at times, as if something invisible remained behind. Today, a small part of the SS Dickey is still kept near the beach as a historical display. People still visit the area and remember the old ship that once sat quietly on the shore for more than a century. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, the story of the SS Dickey is full of mystery, memory, and the feeling that the past can sometimes still be felt in the present. 9. TSS Canona. The TSS Canona was a passenger steamship built in 1902 in the United Kingdom. It was brought to Australia to carry people and cargo along the country's eastern coast. The ship had a good reputation and served many routes, but its most well-known role came during World War I. In 1914, the Canona was turned into a troopship and then later used as a hospital ship. It played an important part in carrying soldiers and caring for the wounded during the war. However, the ship's history also has a dark and mysterious side that has led some people to believe it may be haunted. During its wartime service, the Canona faced several problems. In one case, there was a mutiny among the soldiers on board, who refused to land in New Guinea due to poor preparation and confusion. This event was filled with tension, anger, and fear. Later, the ship was used to transport injured and sick soldiers, many of whom died from their wounds or illnesses. It's said that some of these men never made it home and that their spirits may still be connected to the ship. In 1917, the Canona sank off the coast of Victoria while carrying cargo. A large hole had formed in its hull, and despite the crew's efforts, the ship could not be saved. Thankfully, all the crew survived, but the wreck of the Canona was lost under the sea for many years. It wasn't until 2005 that the ship was finally found by a deep-sea survey team. The discovery brought new interest in the ship's story, especially from those who believe in the paranormal. Since its rediscovery, the Canona has become a topic of ghost stories among divers and history lovers. Some people believe the ship is haunted by the souls of the soldiers who died during its hospital service or by the energy left behind from the stressful wartime experiences. Divers who have visited the site, though it lies in deep waters and is not commonly explored, have spoken of a heavy, silent feeling around the wreck. A few even claim to have seen unusual shapes or felt strange chills underwater, which they couldn't explain. The Canona's history as both a passenger and hospital ship means it carried a wide range of human emotions: joy, fear, pain, and death. Ships like this often become the focus of ghost stories because they witnessed so much life and loss. Some believe the ocean itself holds memories, and the wreck of the Canona is a place where those memories still live. Though it lies silently beneath the sea now, the TSS Canona remains part of Australia's maritime past. Its story reminds us of the brave people who served during war and the mysteries that still lie hidden beneath the waves. For those who believe in ghosts, the Canona is not just a sunken ship, it's a place where history may still whisper through the water. 10. HMAS Hobart, D-39. HMAS Hobart, D-39, was a guided missile destroyer that served in the Royal Australian Navy. It was launched in 1965 and served for over 30 years before being decommissioned in 2000. The ship took part in many important missions, including service during the Vietnam War and joint military exercises with other countries. It was known for its power, speed, and advanced technology. After its retirement, the ship was prepared to become an artificial reef and dive site off the coast of South Australia. Today, it rests underwater near Yankalilla Bay and is a popular destination for experienced scuba divers. Although the HMAS Hobart no longer sails the seas, some believe that not everything on board was left behind. Over time, divers have reported strange and unexplained experiences while exploring the wreck. These include hearing muffled voices, feeling like they are being watched, and seeing shadows or flickers of movement where no one else is present. Some say they've had a strong feeling of sadness or tension near certain parts of the ship, especially the control rooms and engine areas. One of the most talked about events connected to the Hobart happened during the Vietnam War. In 1968, the ship was accidentally attacked by a U.S. aircraft, which mistook it for an enemy target. The strike killed 2 sailors and injured several others. This tragic event left a deep emotional mark on the crew and is often remembered in connection with the ship's legacy. Some believe the trauma of that moment may still linger within the ship, even now that it rests peacefully beneath the sea. Divers who know the history of the ship often say they feel a different kind of energy when they swim through the wreck. Some have described cold spots or sudden drops in temperature that can't be explained by water currents. Others report their diving lights flickering or their underwater cameras malfunctioning when they get close to certain areas of the ship. These experiences have led some to believe that the spirits of those who served on the HMAS Hobart may still remain close to the ship. The site is carefully protected and respected as both a dive attraction and a memorial. Many people who dive there come not just to explore a historic ship, but also to honor those who served on it. For some, the quiet and stillness of the wreck feel sacred, like walking through a place where history continues to speak. While there is no scientific proof of ghosts on the HMAS Hobart, the stories and feelings shared by divers continue to build its reputation as one of Australia's most mysterious sunken ships. Whether you're a history lover, a diver, or someone drawn to the unknown, the HMAS Hobart offers a powerful reminder of the past, and the possibility that some parts of that past may still remain.